Tonight we're hosting our 14th lecture, and I'm very pleased to introduce Professor Valeriia Ovcharuk. Professor Ovcharuk, now head of the Department of Hydrology at Odessa Mechnikov National University, previously served as the director of the Hydrometeorological Institution at Odessa State Environmental University for 12 years. The focus of tonight's webinar will be the increasing trend in recorded conflicts where water has been used both as a trigger and as a casualty over the past decade. A key focus will be the armed conflict between Ukraine and Russia, which led to the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam on the Dnipro River on June 6, 2023. Through this webinar, participants will gain a deeper understanding of the vulnerabilities of water resources and infrastructure in armed conflicts and the importance of protecting these vital assets to ensure sustainable development and societal well-being. Before we dive into this discussion and before we start the lecture, we have some housekeeping matters to cover. Please note that tonight's lecture delivered by Professor Valeriia Ovcharuk will be recorded. However, we shall cease recording before the discussion segment to enhance privacy and foster open dialogue. Should we have any questions during the recording, kindly submit them in the chat. We will endeavor to address them as they arise. During the question and answer session, you are encouraged to raise your hand or post your questions and remarks in the chat. We will address them accordingly. For those unable to stay until the end of the presentation, please be assured that we upload all the recordings to our YouTube channel. To remain informed about our activities and updates, you're invited to subscribe to our newsletter. Well, thank you once again for joining us tonight. Let us proceed with the lecture, and remember, no matter how electrifying the conversation gets, rest assured, the only outage we will experience is from an engaging and powerful discussion. Dr. Ovcharuk, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Oleg Vitalyevich, for so brilliant presentation. Let's start. I'll try to share my screen. And you. Are you see my presentation? Are you see my presentation?
We surely do, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, let's start. Dear webinar participant, dear colleagues, let me introduce to you my lecture about impact of armed conflict on the water resource and infrastructure, and today a case study of Ukrainians' water infrastructure. As you all know, the water is the main resource, important, maybe most important things on our planet. The Sustainable Development Goals by securing societal and environmental well-being population worldwide. And at the same time, the fresh water as the resource and related water infrastructure are among the most vulnerable sector during armed conflicts. How we can know what is happening, what influence of war conflict on the water resource, on the water infrastructure. For example, now we have many open source. In one of them, the open resource database, Water Conflict Chronology by Pacific Institute, and on this database we can find reported violence associated with fresh water resource and water infrastructure from 25,000 BC to present, and which is tracked. On this slide, you can see that the water conflict share practically all around our planet, But at the same time, if we make some analysis of this picture, we can see that most of the water conflict located on the territory that have not a lot of water. It's a territory with insufficient of the water resource. It's, for example, you can see all around practically territory of India, red point, it's a huge number of conflict. It's Africa, it's South America, and at the same time we have is such example on the all around the Europe. On this database, all conflicts separate on the three categories. First of them as a trigger, water as a trigger or root cause of the conflict, where there is a dispute of the control of the water system, or the economic or physical access to water, or scarcity of the water trigger violence. The second one, the weapon. Water as a weapon of conflict, where water resource or water system themselves are used as a tool to the weapon in violent conflicts. And the third is the casualty. Water resource or water system as a casualty of conflict, where water resource or water system are intentional of the incidental casualty of the targets of violence. How its category divided on the this bus database. First of them, when water is a trigger, consists of more than 700 of the events. When water play a role of the weapon, it's only 200 more. Little more than 200 events. And the category when water is a play a role as a casualty is biggest. It's more than 800 events all around the world. Some example. As I said, this open database include information from ancient times to present. And I think it's a very interesting example from ancient Israel, or conflict between Roman Empire and Israel. Well-known Roman procurator Pontius Pilate uses sacred money to divert to stream to Jerusalem to Israel, and Jewish are injured, and the diversion and tens of thousands gathered to protest. Pilate soldiers manually mount the crowd, and with daggers hidden to their garments attack to protesters, and a great number of the slain and wounded. As the first example, when water was as a trigger. Second, next example, I think is very also interesting and tragically, the water as a weapon. On June 9, 1938, during the Second Japanese-Chinese War, national troops led by Chiang Kai-shek broke down dams that help river near the Huangpu village in Henan, and causing that was called natural disaster war. The purpose of operator was to stop advance to Japanese troops to portion of the strategy using water as substituted for the soldiers. As a result, the flood covered more than 54,000 square kilometers and climbed from 500,000 to 900,000 local lives, while the number of Japanese soldiers killed was unknown. Flood prevented the Japanese army from taking the city of Jinzhou, but they did not prevent them from achieving their goal to capital Ukraine, famous city now, the city that was then the provisional capital of the China. Next, modern example, water as a casualty. Water utility system destroyed during conflict in the Congo. It's recently, not so far, 2006, and during the long-running conflict in the Congo, many water utility systems are attacked and destroyed. And by 2006, the World Bank estimate that at least one-third of water utility installations have been looted and completely destroyed. It's an example around the world. And on the next slide, you can see some graph that illustrate situation with the number of water conflict for the recently 20 years. As you can see, this number have a strong positive trend. If we see, as you can see on the beginning of millennium, for example, in 2000 years, we have only 20 number of this conflict. After only for the 20 years, this number of conflict decreased practically in the 7 times. And another interesting thing is the significant increase the number of conflict when water playing role as a trigger, the blue column. It's what situation we have now around the world. What we have in Ukraine? Use the same database. I just show you number of conflicts on the Eastern Europe. As you can see, practically all conflicts located on territory of Ukraine. It's just one of 2 points on another country. It's after 2022. And what we can say about now we got many information, we have many information, but we not summarize it. If we represent it information at the list, it's impressive because it's very long list about damage, about destroyed infrastructure which connected with water. For example, first it was destroyed the dam blocked water on the Crimea. Next, Chinevsky Dam and Seversky Donetsk dam. After that, Ukrainian lands was flooded north of Kiev in a fort to stop armored as on the Ukrainian capital. After that, forces attacked on the Seversky Donetsk Donbass water pipelines, bomb water supplies system in Kherson, in Kharkov, destruction of the sewage treatment plant in Vasilivka. It's led to contamination of the Kakhovka reservoir. Bombs of the water pumping plant to Chernigov, in Lugansk, missile attack on oil depot in Kalinivka, forced access to water electricity city Severodonetsk, gates on the dam, the still reservoir and destroyed, causing flooding in Svetogorsk, water supply for 5 towns in Lugansk, several towns in Zaporozhye, Ukraine lost water service due to the attack. Blame to the liabilities cutting the water supply in Nikolaev. You can see illustrated on this picture how it was and how it's maybe now. Next, it's as I say, the long list. Many towns in Donetsk and Ukraine are cut from the water supplies. 106 towns in Kherson region of Ukraine are left without water after attack of energy and water infrastructure. Water distribution pipelines in Lugansk was destroyed. Water processing system in Zaporozhye in Ukraine. Major portion of Kharkov are left without water by attack water of energy system. Russian force shall Zelnogorsk, Ukraine cut off water and electricity, and long list of this event. But you can see and you can read about it. You can use this database for more information. But today I want told you about maybe most catastrophic and huge destroyed. It's about Kakhovka, about destroyed the dam on the Kakhovsky reservoir. It's a massive attack on the Kakhovka Dam, is the Dnipro River is destroyed and causing the massive upstream and downstream consequence. It was in 2023. On next slide, you can see some resulting scheme. It's from book article that was published in Nature Sustainable by Shumilova and other. This also you can see practically all effect of conflict located on the border between territory of Ukraine and territory under control of the Russia. Some of this effect is potential, some is realized. What effect it's represented, what effect we can expect? It's bacteriological pollution, interrupted operation, stopped vast water treatment, surface water pollution, dam damage, mined area objects, stopped water supply, water transfer interruption, flooded mine, nuclear threat, stopped water supply, and vast wet treatment. And now about Kakhovka, as I announcement. I think all of you know due to the armed conflict, massive Kakhovka Dam on the Dnipro River was destroyed on the June 6, 2023, causing massive flooding, more than 50 people deaths, and ecological devastation downstream, and cutting water supply for city, power plants, and irrigation system. This is example of the weapon and casualty water conflict type. On this picture, you can see how look like the dams before the attack, after to the destroyed, and after water go away from Kakhovka reservoir and after destroyed the dam. Our scientists from our colleagues from Ukrainian Hydrometeorological Institute represent how it was on the different days after catastrophe on the Kakhovka Dam. On first picture, you can see situation in the 6th of the June, first day after dam destroyed. Next day, as the 7th of June, practically all water from after destroyed the dam, go to the down of the this part of the Dnipro River, and 7-8 of June we have water was on the Kherson city, and on this picture you can see that the red color area of flooding of settlement. Many area with settlement with citizens was flooded, and this all territory was practically above the water, under the water. On the next slide, you can see some result of working our scientists under the joint Ukrainian and University Stirling projects. And it's a satellite data, how change the water course in the reservoir. Before data collapse, you can see how it was 2nd of June, and after dam collapse, practically after months after catastrophe on the Kakhovka Dam and Kakhovka Reservoir. You can see all territory that was a water after the months represent as a land. Another picture how situation changed on the downstream. As you can see, it was a reservoir. On this point was a dam. It was a river, Dnipro River. After destroyed the dam, all water go to the downstream and filling practically all channel and old channel and floodplain of the Dnipro rivers. As a result, many territory was flooded. And on next slide, I find it a very interesting illustration of this process, how it was from 5 of June to 18 of June. 5 of June, we can see the reservoir. 18 of June, it's the shallow territory. Next slide represent some illustration how pollutant water sharing from the Dnipro River, from Dnipro River into the northern west part of the Black Sea. This picture for the date of 5 of June, and we can see this green and yellow color. It's some chlorophyll and some suspended matter, and all of these elements of this pollutant water. After practically 10 days, we can see on the coastal area of the northwestern part, northwestern coastal area of the Black Sea. On this slide, you can see picture how it was in Kherson region as a result of destroying the dam. On next slide, I want to present you what we can see on the beach in Odessa. All of this garbage, all the pollutant water we see, and was represented on the Odessa beach in the town. And I think it's very interesting. The building from Kherson sailed to Odessa. As a result, destroyed of the dam. Another pictures, also we use satellite data, how this pollutant water pairing on the territory of the northwest coast of the Black Sea. And another interesting video, shallow Kakhovka Reservoir on the 9th of July. It's practically bottom of the Kakhovka Reservoir. What influence of this situation we observed today, for example. On this slide, you can see information from Ukrainian Hydrometeorological Center, and it was information all on the, for example, 25th of May, and you can see that all territory of the low Dnipro in brown color. What does it mean? It means that as a result of devastation of the Kakhovka Reservoir and entry to the Dnipro River into the old natural channel, the water level are significantly lower than the water intakes in the Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporozhye, and Kherson region. It's danger level. What does it mean? It means that the low water is brown. Yes, low water levels, when water level below are decision maker of water intake structure and pumping station. Navigation are marks on navigation river and reservoirs with the retention period and one or more months. And also decrease in water level during the drought flow period below the lowest mark with the observation period and retention of the 4 months of the moon. And now this situation we practically see all period on the next month, May and June and now, in May and now. About situation on Kakhovka Reservoir, what happened on the after this catastrophe. For example, on this slide, you can see situation at the November, 7th of November, on the 2023, represent this picture. That the Dnipro returned the old channel, old river bed. And it's water on this old river bed, but this situation is old floodplain when was the Kakhovka Reservoir. And after when the wave of the spring flood coming into this territory is natural process. It's a part of the hydrological regime of Dnipro River. All of this territory practically filling at water or floodplain filling at water. In now this territory, this water, how it was many years ago, before the constructed the Kakhovka reservoirs. And another interesting thing, things that now on the part of this floodplain became the young, very young forest. It's a very interesting situation, unexpected situation, and specialists who study this phenomena say it's very which is very good, because if this young forest was development and was growing, we maybe in the future we have the biggest natural forest on the steppe zone. Because on this place, before the building the Kakhovka Reservoir, was a great meadow, such named Great Meadow. It was the big territory with plant, but it not was a forest. And now on the this place, very high temp growing the new forest. It's maybe some of the positive from this situation. What said expert about this situation with water supply, with water infrastructure in Ukraine? First of all, only 65% of Ukrainians have access to centralized water supplies. Auditors for account chamber state of Ukrainians have limited access to high-quality drinking water. Almost 18% of the country's population drinking water supply is provided by surface water, and the ecological condition of which is deteriorating. 65% of Ukrainians are provided with centralized water supply, and the terms of the number of settlement, it's 98 of the cities and only 23 on the village. Reminding the residents of the rural areas mainly consume water from the wells, and individual wells are sanitary and technical conditions which most unsatisfactory. Epidemic security is deteriorating. The full-scale military aggression of the Russian Federation led to the significant and sometimes irreparable destruction of the critical infrastructure of the centralized water supply or drainage of the city. As said Victor Bogun, the representative of the Accountants Chamber, in Ukraine, the issue of providing high-quality drinking water became especially acute during the period of the full-scale Russian invasion. As we see, recent events, the destruction of the Kakhovka reservoirs, dam, future are aggravate the negative consequences of the Russian aggression, in particular, humanitarian and environmental catastrophe, which leads to the shortage of the fresh water. I'm sorry. According to the updated World Bank assessment of the damage needs in Ukraine as February 24, 2023, direct losses from damage of water supply and wastewater facilities amount $2.2 billion. Losses in total were estimated approximately at $7.5 billion. And also, auditors account chamber find was due the large-scale invasion of the Russian Federation in Ukraine. More than 725 million hryvnia were actually lost, which were used in 2019-22 for implementation of investment project for the water supply and sanitation in Donetsk, Zaporozhye, Lugansk, and Kharkov regions. Since where today is donors activity hostilities and partial occupation, future implementation of activities is impossible, and the projects have lost relevance. Good news. As a result, supporting such organization as the Worldwide of Ukraine, they support the state water agency in monitoring the state of surface water bodies in the territory where was negative affected of the Russian occupation, the detonation of Kakhovka Dam. The State Water Agency ensures the prompt performance of water sampling and measurements to the timely response the information regarding the pollution of water bodies and affected territories. Worldwide funds of the Ukraine has 100 of the following devices and charitable assistance to water management organization of the state water energy for water monitoring laboratories in northern region in Vyshgorod and water and soil monitoring laboratory in the regional office on water resource in Mykolaiv. It's oil product analyzer, 7 meter to lead oxygen meter, complete with electrode, pH meter, fluorides for determining all products, spar and phenols. The total cost of equipment is almost 1 million hryvnias. And of course, State Water Agency expressed its gratitude to partners for support, and the transfer of the device will make possible strengthen capitulated State Water Agency laboratories in terms of operational measurements of the water quality indicator. On this picture, you can see how its water monitoring is provided. Maybe it's all. Thank you for your attention. Дякую за увагу. And waiting for your questions.
Well, thank you, Professor Ovcharuk, for such an insightful and comprehensive lecture. Your expertise on the increasing trend in conflicts where water has been both a trigger and a casualty, and the specific focus on the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam has provided us with a deeper understanding of the vulnerabilities of water resources and infrastructure in armed conflicts.